Welcome to Profiles and Drive, the place where I invite amazing people to come over here, sit in the director's chair, and share with me their story of how they got to where they are. And because I believe that we see people who do amazing things, and we don't always see the hard work that they put behind into it. And today we have a very good friend of mine who I haven't seen in years, Allison Tanaka. She is the current executive director of Culture Shock, and I'll let her talk. So let the people know who you are.
Again, my name is Allison. I'm the executive director of Culture Shock LA. It's funny when you asked for me to come on here because I think a lot of people have no idea, when they think of Culture Shock, they think of Arnell or our artistic director, Anthony. I'm sort of been the one that's been behind the scenes a lot of times. I've been with the organization, started as a dancer 13 years ago, been one of the directors for 10 years now. So
wow.
A lot of time, but I'm always sort of behind the scenes. So thank you for letting me be here today.
No problem. Tell me, because not a lot of people are gonna know who Anthony Lee and Arnell,
Sure.
but what do you know, like, in terms of behind the scenes? What is it that you would do?
I started off doing more of our outreach and education programs. So I've been lucky enough to have the opportunity to do the grants, structure a lot of our after school and our in-school dance programs. A lot of the outreach work that we do at schools and community sites have been things that I've been able to be involved with. Now as the executive director, I'm also responsible for a lot of the production elements of our shows. So just handling a lot of the behind the scenes things when it comes to meeting with a theater or coordinating publicists or
Wow.
yeah, just accounting all like the non-glamorous things. I get to do all of that just to make sure that the organization behind the scenes continues to function.
Wow. So I'd say it's not the most glorious job.
No,
but
it's definitely not the most glorious.
Definitely
job.
the one that needs to get done, especially
Right.
if, the growth is needed. Like, counting.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I mean, what's I guess, because you said you started as a dancer, right? What was Culture Shock before?
Wow, we've seen a lot of changes in the life of Culture Shock. When we took it over, or when I started as a dancer, I think the philosophy behind the organization was very different. We performed occasionally, and it was mostly, performances at community shows. But we weren't challenged really artistically. Team bonding wise, we weren't really functioning it was more like a recreational fitness kind of a thing almost, I would say was the mentality behind it. When Arnell took over the team in 2003, he actually really changed the path for the organization and has helped it become what it is today. His priority was making sure that we stayed true to the elements of hip hop, the street styles, that we really focused on artistic elements, but Arnell is also very community.
Yeah,
and I think I was honored to be one of those that he asked to help him lead the organization because I love that community aspect of it and the dance education aspect of it. That's something that I've always loved. So now I would say of all the Culture Shocks internationally, we've been able to become one of the strongest organizations, not only artistically over the years, but also with our outreach and education programs. We have a solid branch in that as well. So I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that's one thing that when I was in Culture Shock was huge for me because I always saw dancing as I'm gonna go perform for like college crowd or an adult crowd, but then it really took my dancing to a different perspective. The first time, I forgot which elementary school it was. I just know it's down Olympic, somewhere around.
Probably Carthay.
I think, I think so. And then
we've been there forever.
And then one of those, a kid went up to me and said, like, he had a cast on. He's like, "You think I can still dance?"
Aww.
I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, man. Like, of course you can still dance. Just like once your legs better, you can get back on it." And like, it's like the fact that like my talent is like it's not just meant to entertain like the adults. It's like it's really gonna affect like lives.
I think that's something that we really try to encourage too, and that's something that I think we sort of have taken for granted is that you can be an incredible artist and an incredible dancer. Like I feel like I was a classically trained dancer, and through your art, sometimes you forget. You're so focused on the performance element of it that you forget how you can inspire, and what you can teach other people. And actually, at one of the in-school programs, I think it was amazing. There was a teacher that came up to us after one of the residencies that we did, and he was really honest and said, you know what, when I first heard that a hip-hop dance program was coming into the school, I thought, why? What's the point? Like, what's the value in that? He's like, I was against it. But after seeing our teaching artists in there, and after seeing the transformation of the kids and their self-confidence and their ability to work together and just how much passion and joy they had, he said that it completely changed his perception of dance and of hip-hop dance. So to me, for us to be able to go in there and not only inspire and motivate these kids, but also to change the outlook and perception of adults, and kind of help to break that stereotype that they may have of what we do, was pretty amazing. Yeah,
my experience when I went to randomly Culture Shock Auto by myself.
Oh.
One random time, like when in terms of that, and like they asked me, why did you leave LA to come hang out here? I'm like, out of pure curiosity, and just one, it's a different, like, the challenge of just traveling by myself is scary, so I just did it. And I figured I knew some people there. After meeting them at Showcase. Which is one of the biggest events, the Culture Shock Showcase. From what I understand, all the Culture Shocks come and show what they got, and it's really cool to seeing how what their hip hop community is like. So I don't know. I think it's one of, like, when it came to me picking an organization, like I originally, like in college, I wanted to go to like Cabo, but that was too far. And then I wanted to go to PAC, that was too far. And this is also at the time when at Fambas was also having sort of hardships, so I was like trying to figure out like what I wanted to do with in terms of dance. And then when I learned about Culture Shock, I'm like, and this is when I was also like hardcore, like learning about the history, and then I found out what you guys were about. It's like, oh yes, and they have a locking crew, so I was like, I had to go do it. But what was it like transitioning from a dancer to a director? Like, did you have like that? Did you have people who were too casual with you?
It's been less with the actual interactions with people, and more just from the mentality. Like, you're so used to performing, and you sort of miss that joy of being on stage and having that experience with people. I think I still try to maybe sneak in there for one number occasionally, but you miss that whole process of just being able to dance with this family of people that you just love so much, and being able to share that with them on stage. But I think, and it's funny because I think now that I've been with the organization for so long, a lot of the current dancers have no idea that I know how to dance. Like, it's been that long since they've really seen me dance. So a lot of people don't know that I do know how to dance. But I think it was a tough transition initially, but I think as much as I miss performing and training and being able to do that, I realized that I also love what I do administratively. I think it's been so rewarding, and I knew that I just didn't have time for both. And I've learned so much from being with the organization. I think when we took over the company, there was very little structure. We had zero bank account, so it was really trying to rebuild an organization. And what we've learned along the way, and the skills that I've just had to like learn by doing, have helped transfer over into like a career path for me. And I just, it's been nice that I can mesh the two through Culture Shock. So yeah, as much as I miss being a dancer, transitioning into a directorship position has been great, in the sense that I've been able to learn so much more.
Yeah, I heard you guys mention a couple times that you took over the company. Who did you take over from? I didn't even know that there was a.
Oh yeah, there was a director before us. Her name was Patty, and she was actually she was more of a fitness instructor. You know Angie Bunch, who's our originator, creator. She was a fitness instructor, and I think that was kind of Patty's background as well. She was teaching aerobics or something at one of the fitness clubs at
Wow.
Spectrum, and was great. But I think she just had a different vision of what she wanted the team to be, and she ended up moving back to the East Coast, and she wanted the organization to continue on. So yeah, she couldn't have picked a better person in Arnell
Yeah.
to take it over.
Yeah, and especially then, since he's the founder of Kaba.
Yeah, he's an amazing person.
I remember there was a moment of reminiscing. I don't know if it was with you or Michelle. These are other directors, but like they're talking about the hardships of having consistent people. I don't know if that was ever. I don't know if I'm confusing with another conversation, but what was that like transitioning and then having people really? Because you said there were people who were just doing it recreationally.
Right, right.
What was it like trying to get people to actually like commit now?
Finding people who will commit to the rehearsal schedule and the performances, I think that was something that we had trouble with initially. The team is made up of so many diverse people, and that's kind of how we got our name. I don't know if you knew that.
Really?
Was that when they started Culture Shock in San Diego, one day at a rehearsal, the dancers were looking around and they said, you know what, it's so crazy because we would never have met each other had it not been for our love of dance.
Wow.
And so they were like, this is just a crazy culture shock of people. And that's kind of how the organization has stayed. We have members from all over the county and of LA and Orange County, so we're spread out.
Yeah.
Having folks commit to driving in for rehearsal twice a week, spending late nights, and it's a challenge, especially year after year. So it's something that we encounter every year, just sustaining the organization, sustaining the chemistry and the dancers. But I think what ends up happening is we have such a family of dancers. People grow so close,
Yeah.
and you kind of get sucked into the organization that that it's hard to leave.
Yeah.
So it's been great. Next year is actually our 20th anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah. So we hope to get all of you guys alumni back to come visit and maybe do a piece with us.
Oh man, yeah.
It's been neat too. It's I think that's been really special too, is just seeing how everyone's grown up over the years.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years. And yeah, so and I remember during the rehearsals, I mean, me, Earl, and Josh would do the whole Sweet Tea Boys and all that.
Oh, that's right.
I think they're still continuing that whole Sweet Tea tradition.
They are. Well, I mean, and it's neat because now Future Shock has been around long enough too that we see so many kids that are growing up through Future Shock that are like John Altanese was like John and Law, a bunch of folks at Symbol, like they were with the organization and with Future Shock when we started, and they came back as Culture Shock company members this year. Our Future Shock director Justin started off in Future Shock himself.
He's amazing.
So it's like you kind of see everybody growing up through the organization and now coming back. It's really neat.
There's that. I feel like that's what I like. It's like there's a. They're, I guess, bred to give, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because I know like I remember La was in when we were in high school. He mentioned about Future Shock, and then he went off to go do his thing, and then seeing him come back this year, I'm like, whoa, that's. And then seeing how everyone this whole year is just crazy, like the cast members, the routines, and people putting it together. I have to ask you, what was like throughout all your years, dancer and director wise, like what would you find was the most challenging? Like what was the most challenging ever, and what do you find challenging every year?
Because Culture Shock as an organization it takes up so much time, and it's kind of a labor of love for all of us. We don't have salaries. We all just kind of do it for the love. The only people that really get paid are teaching artists who are doing the work in the schools.
Yeah.
So I think challenging is always finding folks that can commit the time and the energy to it. Personally, I think for me, it's the most challenging has just been trying to find that balance between surviving and finding a career that also lets me have enough time for Culture Shock. And I think also we see so many of the company members go through so much. I mean, again, as we just talked about how people kind of grow up in the organization,
Yeah.
I think we see each other go through challenges not only in careers and as dancers, but we also get to know each other and see each other go through life challenges.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've gone through so much while I've been through the organization personally, as I've seen so many dancers go through it. So on top of just trying to function as a dance company,
Yeah.
we're also trying to take care of each other emotionally and personally so that we can kind of get through these tough spots. And I think that's probably one of the toughest challenges.
Yeah, it's tough. I remember when I was doing it, I'm trying to balance work, my dancing families, and culture shock at the same time, and then eventually it just collided way too much, and I had to choose one or the other. And then now I'm just focusing on being a dad.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing a lot more behind the scenes work with families. So it's I'd say from my perspective, being hands off, it's nice to see that, especially since I helped find it. It's nice to see that it's not gonna fall apart when I do take a day off or take a month off.
Right.
Because that's what I was afraid of before. I don't know. Yeah, you had that like especially you were there in the transition phase.
Yeah.
Like, were there moments where you felt like this is not gonna work out, or like things are just gonna fall apart at any second? Did you ever have that uncertainty?
I don't think we've ever been afraid that the organization's going to fall apart. I think we know that we have a dedicated enough core that will continue to go on, but it's been such sort of highs and lows throughout the years that it's just trying to find consistency to really create an organization that's strong and healthy and that's doing amazing work, and being able to sustain it and keep it that way, even though company members and directors may come and go.
Yeah.
You know, we're not like an Alvin Ailey or something that has that paid position and that's their career and you know they're going to be there forever. We don't have that luxury. So just making sure that we can keep the organization moving forward and improving. Even though there's changes every year, I think that's been a challenge. But it's worked out really, really well, and I feel like we've really made some amazing changes and some amazing progress in recent years.
Yeah, man. I'd say it's like every year, like I think a huge, I'd say like upgrade, and even more. The directors like have such different challenges from the previous one. So. Because I was there, Mickey was doing it, then switched to Joseph.
Yeah.
And learning different philosophies from different directors was cool. Like, it's because I learned things differently creatively.
Right.
And then, tell me more about the recent show you guys did, Roy Meets World. I liked the name, by the way. So I was like, oh yes. But then I realized it was Roy G. Bibbs. So.
That's right. The show was amazing. It was a sellout, and so proud of everything that went into it. I think Anthony put together a phenomenal show. We had amazing support from just such talented guest performers with Mischief Makers and Entity and Poyotics and Jillian showed up.
God.
Yeah, Pat Cruz and Jillian had a piece in there, and then Jillian agreed to perform with us. Jasmine came back, Jasmine Jenkins.
Really?
Next song. Yeah, so just having all of those guest artists be a part of it was such a great experience. And I think the chemistry of the teams this year, Culture Shock had an incredibly talented cast of people, but they all were also a true family. Like they loved each other, and it showed on stage. Future Shock, I had an opportunity to be a director of Future Shock this year too.
Oh wow!
Didn't have enough time to do, but they were. I think this year's Future Shock too. Just watching the kids grow and how much love and energy they put into it. You know, all of our youth teams, minis and mighties too. It was a great thing. I feel like they felt so great about the performance, and I couldn't have asked for a better show. It was amazing. And I think the message behind it too. I mean, the benefit shows always have a message behind it. And this one we keep saying it's about the journey and not about the destination. And that's really what this was.
Yeah. Wow. 13 years, right? So
13 years.
So it's quite a journey for some. A lot of people would say, "Man, you put in some serious work and years." And some people eventually have that. I'd say that moment of I've had enough is enough. And what about you? Where you had your moments of challenges, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. And what drives you to keep going, to keep giving?
Yeah, I feel like I have been so lucky. I've learned, number one, I've just learned so much that I've carried over into professional life, just skill-wise, because we've had to learn on the fly with this organization. We've had to just learn by doing in order to exist. So I've learned a lot, and I will always be thankful for that. I think separately too, just again in my personal life, I feel like some of the stuff that I've had to go through, it's been the team that's helped me get through it, whether they realize it or not. They're such incredible people, and they are some of the nicest people. I feel like the organization has helped me meet some of the best human beings ever. I mean, they're not only the most amazing artists and talented artists, but they're also just phenomenal human beings. So again, I'm grateful for that. And I think when you have the opportunity to look at what we've done, today we did an outreach event for special needs kids.
Wow.
And the kids that actually performed and helped us with it were teens from one of our high school programs who've never really done community service. They kind of come from an at-risk area.
Wow.
But to see how much they've grown as dancers, but also as people, they had a blast. And
Yeah.
they were so amazing with the kids. And it was to be able to see that you've had a hand in helping them change their lives as dancers and as people has been great. And even with the dancers, I think this year we had an opportunity to sort of just let the dancers say whatever they wanted to say in one of our circles, and hearing great feedback from them about how a lot of them have found maybe career paths that they didn't expect. Having kind of found out who they were as people through the journey of culture shock, I think that has helped me feel like I know why I do what I do for this organization. Because if you can touch people's lives like that, have just a little hand in that, it's pretty amazing.
That's what one of the things I remember hearing from one of my old teachers saying is the getting is in the giving. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what continues. That's why I continue. I love to teach, and I continue to go with their families, because it's the similar thing as I noticed when we started getting bigger. It's dang, you would not have met this person in the street at all if it weren't for dance. And I'm just blown away, and then just seeing the evolution of the individual, and then how they I'd say when they let go of their own for me their own, I'd say, agendas, and give more of themselves. Right. And just seeing just the bond grow. It's I don't know. For me, that's what drives me to keep going back.
It's really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Have that.
I feel my eyes getting wider just doing it. I have this thing that people call me when I get really into what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They call it the crazy eyes. So, but yeah. Tell me, not everyone knows about Culture Shock. Tell them, share with me a little bit more about Mini Shock and Future Shock.
So we have minis, mighties, and futures. Minis are our youngest. They're 5 to 7-year-olds. The mighties, almost coming up soon. 8 to 11, 8 to 12 are the Mighty Shock kids, and then 13 through 17 are our Future Shock kids. They're sort of our apprentice companies. A lot of the Culture Shock members are directors of those companies. Uh-huh. We have kind of a mentor program with a troop buddies where Culture Shock people are paired up with the younger ones. But it's great. I think this year we had the opportunity to have a lot of the Culture Shock dancers help out with rehearsals. We did battles with the kids. Yeah, it was just really neat because especially with our kind of all-star Culture Shock cast, a lot of the kids were so in awe of the culture shock dancers. So for them to be able to just kind of be mentored by these folks was such a special opportunity for them.
And I think it's that. Shoot, as a kid, I would have died for that opportunity.
Yeah,
Just like to be like with someone who's really good, and I'm like,
You're like,
talking,
Anthony Lee or Law's my true buddy.
Like,
Like, what are you gonna do?
they're teaching me stuff.
Yeah.
Dang. And that's what I think is so cool. Is like these are like the opportunities I would have loved when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like when I was in school, it was skateboarding, but I wasn't a good kind of skateboarder. I was I'd say troubled youth.
Oh.
But
Came out
I'm
good.
here now.
Yeah.
So, what are your current struggles? Now, even though the show's done, and it's
Current
the work,
struggles?
like the current struggles.
Let me tell you.
Even though it's not, it's
It's, I think more of my struggles come from just worrying about the organization and moving into next year. Every time you change teams, the dynamic changes just with the people. New circumstances with our programs and our grants and our funding is always a change. I think, and just, we talk personally too about just the struggles personally that myself as well as, the company members and the directors are going through. I think you and I talked a little bit about this earlier, is that success is one of those crazy things where when I look at the success of the company or if I look at myself personally with what I define as success, it's really been kind of throwing away what you perceive the definition of success to be. I think it's been about, again, appreciating the journey of how we're getting there. It's about appreciating the present moment and what we're doing as an organization, that we're hopefully positively impacting people and turning out great artists and great people. The show and the success of the show, the success of our programs, that's amazing and incredible. But I think sometimes for us, it's about kind of scrapping what you imagine you're supposed to be doing and what you imagine success looks like, and instead focusing on, all right, how do we build on what we're doing right now?
Oh yes, it's so hard. I know. Just letting go, like this is what we're supposed to be. This is what we're doing. This is how it was.
Yeah, I think for me personally,
image,
in my personal life, it's been about, when you grow up, you always think, okay, this is what I'm going to be when I grow up. This is what success is going to look like. This is what I'm going to be doing. And I'm at a point where I've achieved none of that, So it's about kind of letting go of what you think success and what you're supposed to be doing looks like, and instead taking stock of where you are in this moment, appreciating all those people and the wonderful opportunities that you have right now, and then building on it from there.
One of my favorite questions. What would you tell, present Allison, what would you tell the Allison of 13 years ago? That one main message to get her through.
That you're going to go through struggles and you're going to fail, and things are going to sometimes really suck, but it's okay. I think that I look at, especially even with the organization, how we all were when we first took over the organization. We all second-guessed ourselves. We weren't sure if we were doing what we were supposed to be doing and we're doing this right. You go through that period where you're learning and you're so scared of messing up that you almost sometimes don't do anything at all, or progress is really slow. But then after your first failure, you're like, you know what? I failed, so what? We're gonna just learn from it and move on. And I feel like if I would tell that to myself back then, because I think you make progress faster if you just don't have that fear of failure.
And just fail. Just
just learn. You learn from it and you move on, but it's gonna happen. So don't be afraid of it.
I think it's sort of kind of an inevitable first step or something. Like Matrix, that movie's old, but Neo didn't make the first jump. So.
Right. It's a necessary thing. In order to make progress, you're gonna have to fail. Because that's the only way you sometimes learn. So.
Oh, one thing that's curious, because for FanBiz, we've had the same core for the past 4 or 5 years.
That's really good.
So, and then, what's it like having a constant shift in directorship? What's that like? Is it constant readjustment? Does it keep you on your feet a lot?
It does keep us on our feet a lot. Every year is definitely a different year and a different dynamic. Everything you thought you knew from the year before kind of changes based on the needs of the new team. Right, it goes out the door. But I think at the same time, as challenging as that is, it's completely necessary. Because I feel like so many of the dancers and so many of the directors come to us at different stages in their life. Like we're not all, no one's of an age where we're all set in what we're doing, right? Everyone's always constantly growing. So I think it's about making accommodations for that. One of our former artistic directors who's with the organization, it's been about, Danga. It's been about moving, trying to find something that meets her changing passions and priorities. Like she's really getting more into the education and the outreach, and that's her love. So it's been about allowing her the opportunity to grow in that area and having her take charge of that component of the company now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's been about kind of adjusting to everybody, but also trying to adjust in a way that is going to be beneficial, not only for the organization, but for the people individually.
Yeah.
We want this to be a great experience for everybody. If you're coming in as a director, we want you to learn what you wanted to learn. We want you to get out of it what you wanted to get out of it. We want you to grow as a person. Same thing as a dancer. It's like we want you to have that opportunity to grow through your experience with us. So we're going to do everything that we can to help you achieve those goals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the stuff I started implementing the families was because of the stuff I learned from Culture Shock.
Well, good.
It's like, wow, I love the organization, I love the circle, I love how the approach. Just like, dang, this is like the team I'd love to stay with. I didn't due to circumstances.
Yeah, sure.
Tough choices, but this is like my heart's still there.
Yeah.
And do you?
You're always a part of the family.
And, me and Steph have been wanting to go to the rehearsals, but it's not at the same place.
No.
So it's at Utopia. So we've been hesitant. Is it still the same hours? You guys are?
It's we're there. We're on break until we have auditions in August, but classes are still 6:30 to 7:30 on Sundays and 7:30 to 11. We have rehearsal, and then 8 to 11 on Thursdays.
Oh, so it's still the same hours.
So it's still Sundays and Thursdays.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Because
just
I thought we just stick. Oh, you guys are at Utopia. Like, is it different?
Yeah.
We want to bring Jordan.
Oh yeah,
So
that'd be so much fun.
So like in 9 minutes a little late, but where can people connect with you guys?
Definitely. Well, we're improving our website right now, but cultureshocla.org is our website address. Facebook is an excellent way to get in touch with us. If you message us, if you just check our Facebook page, we always post stuff. Destiny, who is our marketing director now, is great about posting events, posting quotes. She does a lot of fun things on the page. We have video content up there too. So that's a great way to connect with us too. We're always looking for community partners as well. So if folks feel like, I've just got an email about a teacher from a school in East LA who wants to kind of bring us into her school. We're actually partnering with a new, this is very exciting for us. We're partnering with a new KIPP charter school in East LA, and we're going to be providing their in-school arts education 4 days of the week.
Wow.
So we'll have a standing program there, which is something we've never done. We usually do like 1 day a week, 10-week sessions. This is the first time we've been like full time.
Dang, that's cool.
So it's really.
Is there anything else to around the topic? What else is it? That's auditions and then new school. They got anything else new coming up?
We are also we have something called Freestyle Fridays, which Danga and Michael have put into effect. Those are every Friday. It's free. We just want people to come out and have a space where they can learn and dance and just have fun. So those are every Friday night from 7 to 10. We're also trying to kind of build on like a street crew, so that we'll have our performance company, but also that we'll have sort of a place for street dancers. Who
really? Like where they just go out and like they battle?
They can come and help us do like we're trying to put together like an outreach team that we'll do that's more focused on being able to freestyle, but also we do battles at Freestyle Friday.
Wow.
Once
I saw a couple of those flyers and like, dang, I got it. Like, Okay, well, whatever. It's because I'm focused on basketball right now. I'm like, oh,
Oh, that's
I gotta.
Just come check it out.
My training is like for dancing is like minimal at the moment. And once I get that hit, cross that off my bucket list. I wanna. That's definitely I wanna compete more again.
Yeah.
So, because I just miss like that. That it's different, man. Like vibe compared to being on stage.
Right,
So.
right. And having the street dancers and Freestyle Friday, it's definitely a different vibe.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different dance focus, a different mentality, I think, than if you're in rehearsals doing choreography kind of stuff. Yeah.
And last question. What's your definition of greatness?
Oh, I was thinking about this one. I think greatness, I've learned a lot from the dancers and from the people around me. Greatness is when folks can be who they are. You know, they can be true to themselves. They can be authentic, because I feel like that leads them to a happier place. If you can love who you are and be confident in who you are and just be you, you have that confidence and that happiness where you can positively impact the people around you. I feel like I look at dancers who are super talented, but if they're not doing it for the right reasons or they're not really authentic to themselves, they're doing it for I don't know, different reasons. It's almost in a way selfish. They're doing it kind of for themselves.
Yeah.
Where when I look at a lot of the dancers that I've had the pleasure and the honor of meeting, it's like they do it because they love it. They dance because it's a part of them and it's a passion. And by dancing, they're being true to themselves. And it's those people who have that joy and love and want to spread it with, spread it to other people. And they're the ones that really just through their actions kind of impact and inspire everyone around them. And I think that's greatness.
Yeah. You guys are doing great things. So.
I hope so.
And yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And all the links, everything she mentioned, auditions, hooking up with Culture Shock, web-wise, is going to be in the show notes, so make sure you check that out. And thank you for watching Profiles and Drive. I'll catch you guys next time.
That's one thing I wish I had more of his time, and I'm sure all of us can confirm that. But I don't know. I just I thank God for a lot of things. One is my job.
Yeah.
As a computer network engineer for a big telecommunications company. For the past 13 years, I've been able to work from home. So, because what I do, I don't need to be anywhere. It's all logical and all the routing and stuff on the internet. So I can do that from home, and that's a blessing because gas prices, I don't have to worry about that.
Man, yeah.
But most important, I got to see my daughters grow up.
Yeah.
You know, my daughters, I've always been there. I've rarely, I think a couple times I had to go into an office, but for the most part, when they get home from school, I'm there. I see them off to school, and I'm there, and they know that. So I think it's very important. And then when it comes to my job, it's 8 to 5, but it's so demanding. I work late at night. After this interview, I got to go and work all night. We're doing a major project. But then I just make time. This is one reason why people are asking me, well, why aren't you doing more with your brand? Well, they don't realize all that goes behind it. It's not just printing out T-shirts and just sending them out. It's more to it. Like you said, there's stuff in the background.
Yeah. I
deal with the website, and myself being a graphic designer and being a designer of images on the brand and drawing. I work a lot of late hours at night, weekends. I'm up at night. That's really the only time. So I just have to make time.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm gonna say what you shared your whole story of like how Doc 43 came to be. Like when you said you were talking about, I heard you talk about going into cinema arts with George Lucas and all that. When did you figure out it was time? Like, okay, it's time to step forward into getting this clothing brand out.
I've been wanting to start my brand since I want to say the late 90s. And I always said, this is the year I'm going to do it. This is the year, but something would come up. As I said earlier, I was very career driven. I was more focused on my career and getting the certifications in the technology field. So I was more focused on that, and I always kept pushing it out. And then being an avid snowboarder for the past 18 years, I would wear all these brands, and I'm thinking, you know what? I think my brand can stand up just to these same brands. I mean, they look just as cool, and you know, not that not that the other brands don't mean anything, but a lot of them don't have any substance. It's just that they're pushing it, they're doing it the right way. And I figured, you know what? Around 2005, I said, you know, I think I'm going to start doing it.
Wow.
And I